Let's talk about how to improve communication skills in your relationship. Do you struggle to communicate effectively with your spouse or with your girlfriend or your boyfriend? You're probably not very good at communication, but you're probably doing the best that you can. You're doing what was modeled to you by your parents, so you're just doing it. And guess what? It's not working, or you wouldn't be watching this video. So I'm going to give you specific tools that really work to help you communicate and to really feel understanding and connection with your partner. Communication in a healthy relationship is not about argument. People too often get stuck in this argument thing where they feel like they need to win in their relationship. They lack boundaries in the relationship and they're afraid of getting controlled. So they try to argue things out in order to win so that they don't get controlled. Healthy communication is about dialogue. It's about understanding. It's about connection. You and your partner feel loved when you feel understood by the other person, when they actually want to know you. The end result of healthy communication is feeling understood or being able to understand your partner. If you're really bad at communication, then follow these rules. I'm going to break down specific rules for you, and you have to keep these rules in order to get to understanding instead of to argument and fighting with your partner. But before I go over these rules, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like this video. All right, so if you want to learn how to communicate, you've got to slow it down and be deliberate in practicing healthy communication. And the reason I say that is because you'll just go back to your old ways automatically. You have a default setting when it comes to communication. And unless you take a concerted effort and be mindful in practicing this, you're just going to revert back to that. So stop and ask your partner to practice with you so that these things can become more automatic. Okay, so the goal here is for you to understand or be understood. So here's the rules. Take your partner, ask them to do this with you. Pick a topic, okay? Actually, before you pick a topic, first rule, there's one listener and there's one communicator. This isn't so much a back and forth. And as you get better at communicating with your partner, the back and forth can happen more. But right now, I want you to just have one listener and one communicator. And the goal is for the listener to be understood and for the communicator to understand. Rule number 2, one topic at a time. Don't bring the archives. Don't bring up your stuff when your partner is the communicator. It's one topic at a time. So somebody might come and say, I want to talk to you about how frustrated I am, about how messy the house has been. What you can't do is say, well, you think the house is messy. What about the garage? Don't say that. Talk to them about how frustrated they are about how the house is messy. Now, the topic there is not really the messy house. The topic there is their frustration. So you want to go into that frustration with them and listen to that frustration. One topic at a time. Rule number 3, no you statements. As the communicator, what you're doing is actually opening up about who you are and how you feel. And if you want to be understood, then talk about you. When you go into blame and attack mode, then your partner's going to have a hard time staying there with you in flushing out how you feel. Rule number 4 is an obvious one, but it needs to be said. And that is to have respect. If there's yelling, name calling, sarcasm, passive aggressiveness, that's going to shut communication down. So if there's not respect, I want you to stop, take a time out until you can come back together and respect each other and communicate effectively. Number 5 rule is the communicator doesn't need to know how they feel or where they're at. So this is a little bit confusing. The communicator is actually exploring who they are and how they feel. And the listener's job is to help them explore that. So they don't need to come with clarity to the communication, but be willing to explore, both as the communicator and the listener. Let me give you an example. I might come home and talk to my wife and say, man, I feel tired and I feel stressed. And she says, well, why? And I say, I don't know. She says, well, what was work like today for you? Say it was really hard and I went through this, and I start opening up. Now, she's a great listener if she asks me an inquisitive question like that. I don't know how I feel, I just know I have some emotions. So she's helping me process those emotions. All right, I want to give some tips to the listener because it can be very, very hard to listen. So first off, your goal is to get your partner to start nodding their head. So a head nod is really good. And what I mean by that is the communicator starts going like this, like, yeah, that's how I feel. Now, how do you get them to a head nod? You ask inquisitive questions and make inquisitive statements. So it's all about inquisition. Oh, is that how it was like for you? You're not leading them anywhere and you're not judging them. You might say something like, man, it seems like that's really frustrating for you. Is it? Now, all you're doing is you're reflecting back to them what you're feeling or seeing them say. So again, inquisition and reflection. This is how I'm feeling it or interpreting it. This is what I see. Is that how it is for you? Or when that one person said that thing to you, did you feel kind of frustrated and angry? Is that how you felt? Now, as the listener, your tone is very important. If I say, is that how it is for you? Or say, well, is that how it is for you? Very different communication there. I'm trying to reflect and get down to the bottom of what they're actually saying. And the tone of doing that is very kind and very open. The last thing I want to say to the listener is you'll have a tendency to want to be able to have your turn to communicate. Now, when you start practicing this, it is good for reciprocation. It's good for both partners to communicate and to listen. But I would suggest that as you first start to practice this, wait on that. Because if your partner feels like, oh, you're just doing all this stuff so that then you can tell me how you feel, they're not going to want to open up to you. So take some turns, take some space, practice this, and when it's your turn to communicate, maybe the next day or the next time you practice this, then you can speak about how it is for you. You don't have to correct them for the way that they feel. You want to validate them. You want them to feel like you understand them and explore with them what's actually going on with them. Now, their perspective is much different than your perspective. And it's not about getting each other to see things exactly the same way. It's not about agreement. It's about understanding that they see things different than you and understanding why they see things the way that they do. If this video was helpful, then you're gonna need to go check out my Therapy Brothers podcast. We actually have guests that come on there who struggle with communication issues with their spouses, and we teach them how to communicate. So go to iTunes and check out the Therapy Brothers podcast.